Hello, everybody. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO and founder of GSD, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion. Also, Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. So today on Top Global Startups, I would like to introduce you to Kurt Stokbro. Our episode today is Quantum Leap, where we explore groundbreaking innovations shaping the future of technology and science. Kurt is an internationally renowned researcher, serial entrepreneur, and investor deeply entrenched in the fascinating world of quantum technologies. With an impressive career spanning from academia to successful startups like Quantum Wise, Kurt is now at the forefront of quantum photonics with Sparrow Quantum. Today, we'll dive into how Sparrow Quantum aims to revolutionize distributed quantum computing, Kurt's journey from pioneering research to industry leader, and his insights into the future of quantum technologies. Kurt, it's great to have you here today. How are you?
I'm fine, and thanks for the invitation, Gary. So I'm looking forward to spending half an hour together with you.
Yeah, it's super. Kurt, could you tell us about your transition from academia to entrepreneurship, and what inspired you to make that leap and how difficult was it?
Yeah, so I was running a research group at the Technical University in Denmark, where we developed simulation software for simulating at the atomic scale electrical properties of materials. And we developed a software, the first software which using quantum mechanics could simulate the electrical properties of nanostructures. And I could see at that time there could be an opportunity in the semiconductor industry because transistors were getting down to the atomic scale, so there was a new need for a new type of simulation software. So basically, we had a leading technology. So the jump was not that difficult because I could see a potential for the software, and we could raise funds for it. So then, it was an easy choice. And after having spent time in academia for a number of years, I would like to try something new and being an entrepreneur. So, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And, most people don't realize that quantum computers are 100 million times faster than the fastest supercomputer, which means it would take 10,000 years on a supercomputer can take 200 seconds on a quantum. These are real statistics from Google, right? And I mean, the order of magnitude of being able to do things is amazing, and you're right at the forefront. So let's talk about Sparrow Quantum is at the cutting edge of deterministic single photon technology. Could you explain in simple terms, what does this mean and why does it matter?
Yeah, so I mean, everybody knows a laser, and everybody knows how transformative lasers have been to the telecom industry. I mean, all information today is sent with the light. I mean, without the laser, the information society would not be possible. So for quantum, we need a new type of light source which can control light down to its quantum level. So the lowest level for light is the single photon. And what we are providing is a new light source which can provide light at the single photonic level. So it's a kind of critical technology for doing what's called the quantum internet, which is the internet that will connect together quantum computers. But also, if you want to make a photonic quantum computer, you need to control light at the single photonic level. It's the basic information unit that is needed in a photonic quantum computer.
And so how much is this going to change our lives, Kurt? What do you think once the quantum computers, I know you're smiling, And I know what the answer is a bit, but what's it going to do for all of us?
Yeah, I mean, um, it's difficult to fathom. I mean, so for instance, take AI. I mean, who believed 5, 10 years ago how that would change our life? In fact, my master thesis 30 years ago, that was on machine learning and AI. So at that time, I couldn't imagine that we could have something like ChatGPT to today. I mean, it's like a friend you're just communicating with and using for all kind of tasks. Um, Nobody knows, but I mean, there are certain things we know that a classical computer cannot solve. I mean, in my field, which is atomic scale modeling, quantum chemistry, they're simply very limited what we can do with classical computers. Their quantum computers open a completely new door. So, and this is also why I find it so fascinating being the CEO of Sparrow Quantum to follow this field on the front row, so to say.
Yeah, you're right. In 2016, I founded one of the first generative AI companies, pre-transformer models, Findo, with Dr. David Yang, and we were talking about ontology and variational autoencoders, ladder networks, and those kind of things then. And in fact, I've been involved in expert systems 29 years myself, and 39 years in technology in Silicon Valley. So I've seen a lot, and um, so it's incredible how it's going to change in things like drug discovery and how much faster we're going to be able to do things that we thought were impossible a few years ago, right? And quantum, I mean, the difference between, in my opinion, quantum computers and where we are today is the difference between the Stone Age and Elon Musk SpaceX. I mean, it's that much different. We don't even know. Then when you take quantum computers and have AI running on top of it, it's going to change things. You can imagine when you have that kind of computational power. I mean, you talk about living to 150. I mean, things start becoming really real because you can do things that you've never been able to do before.
Yeah, so it's new things that I mean, a classical computer can do a lot of things, and it's amazing what classical computers can do and the complexity it has today. But there's still some problems that it's not built to tackle. I mean, like quantum chemistry is one of them.
Yeah, and so how does Sparrow Quantum's technology differentiate itself from other quantum computing approaches in the market today?
Yeah, so what's central to all quantum computing is what is the basic unit you encode the qubit in. And there are different type of modalities like superconducting qubits, neutral atoms, ions, and we encode our qubits into photons. So this is where we differ. And we for photonic quantum computer, a lot of the technology is already developed today because we have the telecom industry where you have photonic integrated circuits, you have optical fibers. So a lot of the technology is already developed, but as I said before, in the telecom industry, you use lasers. So we need a new light source, and this is where we come in to provide this light source such that we can control light at the single photonic level. And once we can do that with high precision, then we can use these photonic integrated circuits to process these photons and do quantum computing.
I love what you're doing. I mean, um, it's amazing actually. And if you look out there, I've probably written 30 articles about quantum computer, the teleportation of quantum particles and the impact on wireless communications. A lot of stuff actually myself, because it's very interesting. And I love what you're doing. But it's like having a Ferrari in the garage, Kurt. It's about how do you get the Ferrari out of the garage, right? It's one thing. It's about my other companies that are in Copenhagen, or they're in Slovenia or Slovakia. It's how do you get it so people look at it and take it seriously? And it's not about getting it out of the garage. It's winning Formula One, right? How do you win the race with that car? And I've been in Silicon Valley 39 years myself. So imagine, what the possibilities are. You got to get it up so people see it. On your side of it, quantum computing is often seen as the technology of the future, Kurt. In your opinion, how far are we realistically from seeing practical, widespread applications?
I mean, a lot is going on now. I mean, in all modalities, but I think in particular in photonics, we are just at the edge of the revolution. So, in particular, I'm following very closely companies like Quantum, who have raised $1 billion and are going to build utility scale quantum computers within the next 2 years. They are building one in Brisbane, Australia, and one in Chicago. And at least the promise to build really utility scale quantum computers. By utility scale, it's meant that the cost of building the machine is lower than actually the value that is created by the machine. So this is going to be quantum computers that are orders of magnitude bigger than anything we have seen today. And this is also where so the quantum computer also use photons, single photons, but they generate them using a technology called a probabilistic photon source. And this technology is not very efficient, so they need millions of these sources. And this is where the deterministic source is much more efficient. So we can go in and disrupt their technology, for instance, making it much cheaper, making it much more powerful with our technology.
No, I love it. We're just in the dawn of a new era, aren't we? And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
don't realize it. I was involved in late '70s, early '80s with the revolution of PCs, and I remember working on literally one of the first Apple computers, the Apple II, and people said this is never going to happen. I said, it's going to change everything, right? And it did. And I remember being in graduate school working on the mainframe computer, and I worked on this program called Fritz, which was a program as a clinical psychologist. It was a program that would do, analysis, humanistic psychology analysis, so you could talk to it. And I said to myself, when will the power of this equal the power of the human brain? But now we're going way beyond it, right? Because now we've got generative AI models, and if you put those on top of the right kind of computer, quantum computer, this thing can do things that are almost unimaginable today, right? I mean, things that we can't even. It's hard for us to fathom how much more powerful they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not completely clear. I mean, so I think, it's fair to say that we know that a classical computer cannot simulate a quantum computer, but honestly, I mean, we don't know really that many use cases of quantum computers and exactly what it can be used for. So we have one proven algorithm, the Shor's algorithm, that can be used to break cryptography as we know it today.
Oh, that's an article. Kurt, I got to ask you this. I wrote an article about quantum computers and AI being able to crack Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Being able to crack Bitcoin. So I wrote an article about that about a year ago.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on it? Because, I mean, these things are really, really powerful, right? And in the wrong kind of hands, nothing good could happen. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's well known that the right size of the quantum computer can break the RSA code, which is used today in Bitcoins. Then they can change the encryption algorithm. However, there's no proof for the new mathematical algorithms that they cannot be broken by a quantum computer. So I mean, it could be the end for Bitcoin.
I'm not trying to scare anybody, but there are some unknown. There's some unknown territory, And I was writing about it. People said, "Oh, it's not going to happen." I said, "Guys, you don't understand. When you have that kind of power behind you, anything's possible, right?"
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it could be the end of Bitcoin. That's certainly true. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't put that as a highlight of our talk today. The end of Bitcoin by a leading expert in quantum computers, but that's the truth, isn't it, Kurt? It's the truth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah.
Interesting. So you've co-founded two successful startups before Sparrow Quantum. What key lessons did you carry from these experiences, and how did they help you?
Yeah, so I mean, what I've been involved in is always deep tech, and deep tech is a lot about getting the right people on board and having focus. I mean, you can't do everything. So I think, I mean, in quantum wise, we focus on the semiconductor industry. Even though our technology could be applied in other areas also, but you need to focus because you have limited resources. And this is what we're taking into Sparrow. I mean, we have a unique technology, but we need to focus. So we are not going full stack quantum computing. We are focusing on the light source. This is where Peter Lodal, the founder of Sparrow, is a world leader in this field. He has spent 20 years, got more than 50 million euros in developing this technology. And this is what we take into Sparrow and trying to get world leaders in single deterministic single photon technology and engineering into Sparrow, into our team.
So Quantumize, your previous company, was successfully acquired by Synopsys. Can you share insights of about this journey and what it taught you about scaling tech companies?
Yeah, so what we focused on was that in the semiconductor industry, you use TCAD technology, physical modeling of the devices. And earlier they used finite element modeling. However, as the technology scale, you need to understand the technology down at the atomic scale level. And this is what we developed at QuantumWise, a tool specific focused on the semiconductor industry where you can model their devices down at the atomic scale level. So we were the first to do this. So this is why we became the market leader. So I think that's what it happens. What is necessary in deep tech, you have to become a market leader in a niche. Then at some point, you will have a unique position where all the major players are your customers, and then you can decide whatever you want to go up the technology stack to include more elements into your offering, or you want to merge or be acquired by a company that has these other parts of the stack and they will integrate you. So in our case, we decided to be acquired by Synopsys because they had the other layers in the technology stack.
And I love it. So we did Click Software was a company that came from Israel, and I was hired by Oak Investment Partners and brought it to Silicon Valley. But one of the things we did is renamed the company to Click Software from Intelligent Electronics, came up with a family of products: Click Plan, Click Fix, Click Analyze, Click Schedule, Click Forecast. And people said they sort of heard of it, Kurt. They couldn't have heard of it. We're a small company, right? But they heard of it because, my friend Scott McNeely from Sun Microsystems always said, make it look bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
And, we did it. And then I understood the power of marketing, right? And I remember directly going down through it, and, marketing can dramatically change the valuation of your company, can dramatically increase the probability of success, because it's like, I say it a lot, it's like having a Ferrari in the garage. If you got a Ferrari and nobody knows it's in your garage, it's your Ferrari and that's it. Once you get out in the neighborhood and you drive around, your neighbors know it's a Ferrari, but the key is, can you win the race, right? going to take that Ferrari. What do you need? The right pit crew, the right transmission, the right engine, the right driver. And if somebody's already run the race a few times, it's easier to win the race because they can give you hints. And oh, by the way, if you want sponsors, if somebody's already won the race, it's easier to get sponsors, right? So it's just, and sometimes we forget, right? We forget. And I can tell you example after example, and we work with thousands of companies with my family office, and we have 180 in our portfolio today. And I see it every day. It's amazing. So many incredible technologies are out there that nobody knows about.
Yeah, no, I mean, one thing that in the beginning in QuantumWise, I mainly hired software developers and engineers, but what you realize is that you need a lot of applications specialists that can show the industry what you can actually use these tools for.
I agree. You're going singing from the same hymnal. I agree with you 100%. So, and we can talk about it a little bit after the show. But what are some of the immediate practical applications of Spiral Quantum's technology that excite you the most? What do you think is going to be the game changer? It's going to say people are going to have an aha motor. They're going to say this is absolutely incredibly cool.
So, I mean, for me, and what we are focusing on is how we can disrupt photonic quantum computing. As I said, what mainly is being used today is these probabilistic sources, which are not very efficient, where with our sources we can provide much more efficient photons, so we can scale photonic quantum computing as it's known today. And we work with a lot of different players in the field. I cannot tell who, but I mean, like in QuantumWise, where we work with most of the semiconductor companies, we are also working with most of the photonic quantum computing companies, and working on then how our technology can get into their roadmap and how that can scale their technology. Then we are also working with the research community, selling our tools for the academic researchers. It generates some revenue, but it's more because the academics are using our light source into new type of applications. So it's also a way to develop the application field of our technology.
I remember with Sun Microsystems, they focused a lot many years ago now when the workstation environment, they worked on educational institutions because they wanted to get in the hands of people. So they started to use it. Exactly what you said. I mean, you got to plant the seeds. And if you plant
it's not only planting the seeds, it's finding new application areas for the technology. So the researchers, they will test out different things. I mean, people are talking about quantum radars, where you need single photons, quantum key distribution, satellite links, the quantum internet. There's so many places where there are potential applications of our technology, but we don't have the resources to explore them, but we can do that through the academic collaborators.
You've been deeply involved in EU and Danish-funded R&D projects. How important is collaboration between academia, government, industry in advancing quantum technologies?
I think it's immensely important. It's also a funding question. I mean, it's limited. So we raised our Series A funds here 2 months ago. It was 22 million euros, but it's not a lot. I mean, to develop such a hardware company, it's very expensive technology. So to really take it to its potential, we need more resources. So there, it's important that the public also invest in the technology. And that's also happening now in Europe. For instance, we have the EU Chips Act, which we are part of, which will help us with the capex of investing into MPE, clean room technology, and things like that.
So, your research article on quantum transport was recognized as one of the most important papers in the history of physical review. What made this so influential?
Because it was the first time it was possible to, from ab initio, without any experimental parameters, calculate electrical currents. So, I mean, today, with the tools you already had, you need a lot of test experimental parameters and so on to predict what's going to happen if you make a new stack or use a new material for transistor. So what we can calculate is from first principles without any experimental parameters. If you use this new material in your gate stack, you will get this and this result. If you have this defect, then you will have that kind of result. So instead of testing things one by one, you could simply simulate it on a computer and predict which new material it's worthwhile to test experimentally.
It's interesting because, Kurt, as we're doing this, my multi-agent large language model is listening, and it actually started to go through all your research while we were here, just FYI. And this is the first time it's happened. I just wanted to test it to see what it would do. So I have a multi-agent. I have 14 agents are acting as a team. And here's what it was interesting, because what it said is, it says quantum transport is essential for nanoscale electronics, providing deeper insights into device behaviors at a quantum scales. And you have been pivotal in making quantum transport modeling accessible and useful through advanced computational techniques. So is that true?
Yeah, so I mean, our tool, Quantum ATK, is the leading tool for quantum transport and used by all the major semiconductor companies today. I don't think you can mention one company that is not using the tools we developed in quantum-wise. Yeah.
Well, and it says that, here's what it said, and it went through and it said that, so it said, Kurt is an expert in atomistic simulations using the models like density functional theory to simulate electron flow at an atomic scale. The quantum tunneling approach to move these electrons through barriers that classically, this sounds interesting, couldn't overcome. Electronic structure calculations, development of simulation tools like a quantum ATK. But this thing, so you're making it move around faster, right? And the ability to move through things it normally wouldn't be able to move through.
Yes, I mean, the thing is that we needed to implement these tools on a classical computer. So you need to do some approximations. And there we use density functional theory, which is an approximate way of solving the Schrödinger equation. So, I mean, my dream is now all these quantum transport tools that we did on classical computers, if we can do that on a quantum computer, then we don't need the density functional theory. Then we can solve it exactly, and we can get much more accurate models. So that's my dream, to have a quantum ATK runner on a quantum computer. Hopefully one using photons.
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kurt, and this is the first time it's ever done this. It started to listen to what you just said to me, and it started to write it up, actually. And it's blowing my mind, but it says that to talk to you about simulating complex quantum systems, modeling electrons at atomic and subatomic levels. The quantum computers can naturally handle quantum states, allowing efficient and precise modeling of electron interaction, coherence, tunneling, and entanglement. Yeah, it's actually listening to you, and it's actually going through it as you said it.
Mhm. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It's amazing. So, no, I mean, what you're doing is going to change the world. People don't get it. I mean, what kind of impact? Because it's, the last year I was able to build a cancer vaccine for my dog, and I had never ever. I used my multi-agent large language, the one that's actually doing this stuff right now. I put it
Mhm.
on top of it, and it told me how to build a vaccine at a molecular level for my dog. Now, there's a leap of faith, right? Because I didn't know, is this hallucinating or what was going to happen. But my dog went in complete remission of stage 4 cancer with the vaccine.
Oh,
Now,
that's interesting. Actually, we have a collaboration with Orca Computing. It's a British company that is making a kind of first generation quantum computer that can be used together with machine learning. And we have delivered our system for their computer for the NQCC testbed. But we're also working with Danish researchers that are using it for different use cases, and one of them is actually generating vaccines. So there's a researcher, Timothy Jenkins, that are now using quantum AI for generating vaccines here in Denmark also. So
oh, I love it. I love it. I'm not, I'm not a medical guy. I just know how to use AI.
yeah, so
That,
but maybe you should try using quantum AI. At least Timothy Jenkins, he got even better results adding the quantum components to his software stack.
yeah, the world's going to change. It's rapidly changing, and we're right on the forefront of it. And it's people like you who are making that difference. So we're coming up to the top of the show, Kurt. Like I said, if you could stay on after we're done, we can talk for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I mean, we are interested in working with leaders in photonics. I mean, both people that want to be in the forefront, that are interested in a job, or researchers that want to get access to our technology, or new quantum startups that want to use our devices as part of their stack. And I'm available on LinkedIn, so people can just send me a message on LinkedIn.
No, it's great. Kurt, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's enlightening to say the least. And, so my family offices focuses on quantum and AI. So just FYI, and now we have 180 companies inside of GSD. So, I've been on the AI side 29 years, and on this side of it, only about the last 7 years. But it's fascinating, the kind of people and the key is bringing it all together as one, right? We have a lot of islands of knowledge out there, but bringing it all together so we can solve things like global warming, help with situations with vaccines for cancer, and make our world a better place, right? And frontier technologies. So I love it. Anyhow, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thanks for all of you joining one more time. GSD presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I will be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Kurt. I'll be back in a minute, Kurt, so we can talk, okay?
Great.